Hi everybody, welcome to Quartzville Railroad video number 12. Today in the shed, I've got the layout going, and I've built a backdrop going all the way around. It has clouds and sky and everything, so I'm going to take you through the whole process I used to build that. Hopefully you can learn something, maybe apply it to your railroad or in some other way. Shameless plug here. Thank you very much for watching this video, really do appreciate it. If it's something that you like, would you hit the like button there on YouTube? That'll kind of help it get some more hits. And if this is something that you really like, if you really enjoy this kind of content, would you consider subscribing to my channel? I'd really appreciate that. And you have no idea how much it makes my day to actually get that email from YouTube that says I got a new subscriber. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And let's jump in and start looking at the backdrop. All right, so I'm out here in the shed to talk about backdrops and why I need them. So I painted all the walls and the ceiling in here kind of a sky blue color, which is what I wanted. So it's better than nothing, better than a different color, some weird thing. I don't really want to like paint clouds onto the wall. I don't really want to like glue things to it, necessarily backdrops of buildings or anything. So I'm gonna put a backdrop around the entire thing, except for the windows and a couple other spots I'll show you here in a little bit. The two corners, you know, that one over there and the one that's kind of behind me right there, those aren't going to be too bad to do. I'll just run some masonite in there. We'll talk about masonite later, but I'll run some masonite in there into both corners, and I'm envisioning at some point those are going to be big mountain scenes on both sides there. So it's going to cover up the 90-degree joint where the two pieces of masonite come together. So I don't worry too much about that, about having it curved or anything in either of those corners, because again, there's mountains there and trees, and well, that should cover that up, make it look a lot better. Then along the walls here, along the side walls, will just be again another piece of masonite going all the way around. Not sure what I want to do with the window here and the window over there yet. I don't really want to block it because I like having the sunlight coming in when it does shine, and then having the ability to open it too and get some fresh air going in here, not just from the door that's behind you. But let me turn the camera around and we'll talk about the other two corners that we have. All right, so this is the corner, I guess, to the left of the doors right here, obviously. So this, I am going to actually try to make it curved and have it be a nice gradual curve in the back to kind of cover up that corner there. This is where the cement plant is going to be at some point in the future, as designated by the little piece of paper there that says cement plant. Hopefully have a little bit more operations going on there. But I do want that to be curved and come out all the way to the end here, or as close to the end as we can get. And then I think that'll look really cool, because then you can add some clouds or industrial, backdrop, or put buildings along the back, just so it looks a lot bigger than the foot or a foot and a half depth that it actually is. All right, let me turn the camera on again and show you the other corner. Okay, so this is the other corner, obviously to the right of the door to the outside world there. So this one's going to be even more challenging, I think, for what I want to do. I want to have it be curved back here in some way, just like I'm doing on the other corner over there. But I'm also going to want it to curve out right here and actually come out from the wall. And so this track where it goes across where the lift out isn't right now, but when it goes across there, it'll have some kind of I don't know if it'll be a tunnel portal, probably not that, but just covered up with scenery or something. So it looks like the train just disappears off into Never Never Land. So that's going to be potentially challenging if I end up doing two curves on one, or if I end up doing just one curve, here, and then another section with a curve over there. Then I'll have a seam, kind of somewhere in the middle that I'll have to figure out how to cover up. But that's kind of the idea of what I want to do, is use masonite all the way around, get everything looking better, and then give me a surface to work on, to add clouds again and buildings and maybe a photographic backdrop. We'll just see where all that ends up. But that's the plans, at least for this point. Okay, so it's the first really nice day we've had here in Western Oregon in almost a month. Been a cold winter and a cold March and first half of April. So anyway, I'm finally back in the shed working on the layout for the first time in a while, and putting up the the backdrop now. And what I'm using for the backdrop, I think I talked about it before, is masonite, or what Home Depot calls it, a tempered hardboard. And this is what it looks like. It's a nice smooth surface on one side, and on this side it's kind of a rough surface, not like sandpaper or anything, but it's definitely rougher than the smooth side. And they sell it there at Home Depot in 4-foot by 8-foot sheets. And I think it cost me like $14 today for one of them, and I ended up buying two. And I had them at the store. They're willing to cut it for me, and they cut it down in thirds. So it's basically, I have a total of 6 sections, or had a total of 6 sections, 8 feet long and about 16 inches tall, which is going to be now the height of the backdrop will be about 16 inches because that's what I got out of it. So I'm already starting to cut some of these to get it into to get them to place properly in there, and that's kind of what I'm working on this afternoon. But this is just a little scrap piece that I'm sure I'll use for something. But again, real easy stuff to use and easy stuff to bend, which I'll talk about when we start making the curves for it. Okay, so this is just what I have these stored here on the inside of the shed. Those ones against the wall, those are 8 feet long and again about 16 inches high. And then I have a couple on the ground that I've already cut to be a little less than 6.5 feet, because that's what's going to fit across this back part from the corner over there to about the window. And I'm going to have to do another similar piece for this section right here to the end of the wall. And then, of course, all the way around on the other side will be the same thing right there. Another piece and another piece right in here. On the back wall, that's about 10 feet. So I'm just going to slap one of the 8-foot pieces in there and call it good. As I think I've talked about in the corners over there and over there, I'm going to have a mountain scene of some kind. So that'll cover up any seams or any blank spots there in the backdrop. Okay, so let's talk about how to actually bend a section of the masonite into a 90-degree curve, basically going straight this way with a curve in the middle. So this is a 8-foot section I have. It goes down there past the camera, and I'm trying to hook it here at the end so that it'll look really good going around the corner there by the city scene. So what I've done is I've kind of jury-rigged this thing where I've got weights down here. I've got paint cans I'm going to use to actually stabilize this thing. And how to bend this is pretty simple and not too expensive. Stuff I've seen on the internet is to get Windex or window cleaner with ammonia. So I went to Winco, my local store, and I got the cheap bottle of that window cleaner or glass cleaner with ammonia. So this cost me like $2, $2.50. You can see I'm about halfway through it for bending one completely. And then this is going to be the third time to try to get this thing bent. I let this sit overnight last night, and it's not quite bent far enough, so I'm going to re-wet this and then bend it again. And if you do it slow enough, it actually won't break it here at the seam. It'll just bend really slow. And I understand the ammonia does something with the glues inside this, and then once the ammonia evaporates, the glues reset, and it stays solid like this. So it's in a good position right now. It just needs to be bent a few more degrees over that way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Just soak the heck out of it with the window cleaner and then get it set up. So let's do that. Yeah, and just like that, that's about it. Didn't take very long at all. It'll take a while for this to evaporate. And actually, let me put it back a little more just to make sure we get it, because this will still swing back a little bit when it gets done drying. But yeah, definitely more than a 90-degree curve here, but that's okay. Like I said, it'll swing back when I get done. And yeah, I'm going to let this set up here for a day or two, because it is a cold and rainy day here. Again, in Western Oregon, it'll take a little while to get this to evaporate, but once it does, we'll see what it looks like in the layout. All right, so as you can see behind me, I've got the particle board kind of formed here in this corner. I added another little piece right here just to block that up. I have something similar over there in the corner, and I've got all the rest of the pieces cut to go most of the way around, except for the two window pieces, which I gotta figure out what I'm going to do for those a little bit later. So about ready to actually get these installed good and permanent now. One thing I was thinking about is how am I going to do, clouds and a sky and all that stuff. And I was going to paint it blue and then try to paint some clouds on there. And that's definitely possible, definitely something easy to do, relatively easy to do. But I found an easier way, or I'm going to try a potentially easier way, and that's using this bulletin board material that I got over at Hobby Lobby for $6.50. This is 4 feet by 12 feet of this stuff, and I have 2 rolls of it, and it should be plenty. And it's just clouds. That's what it is. Bulletin board paper, clouds, glossy, and that's what they use. I think for elementary school, they'll buy this stuff and put it up on the walls. And they have all kinds of other different designs, but I went with the clouds one because that makes the most sense. So I'm going to cut this down and then just glue it. Basically, have glue sticks and glue it onto these, and then put them up, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, well, just like that, we have a backdrop up. A little bit of gluing here and a little bit of drying there. And it's up all the way. So you can see about 16 inches tall, going all the way around. It's not quite perfect. You know, it's putting gluing paper onto a piece of wood. So if you look really close, you can see some wrinkling to it a little bit. There's a few spots that have seams behind you, and then I got to figure out what I'm going to do with the back corner once I get mountains built. But overall, not a bad project. And I think it'll look a little bit better than just the bare blue wall that I have going around most of it. All right, let me do one more thing here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do on the peninsula section for the background. Okay, for the peninsula section here, which I do need to have a backdrop on it just to separate, you know, this section, the log yard, and the old yard section from the paper mill over on the other side. Does need some kind of a backdrop, and I will have a nice one in here eventually. I'm not sure how it's going to tie in all the way in the back there with a mountain scene or whatever is going to happen back there over the years. So a couple years ago, I actually made a backdrop for this one. This was the entire layout, and it's the just basically this 1/4-inch insulation foam that I painted blue. And this one I did actually paint. I don't have any clouds on it yet, but just have it painted lighter at the bottom, darker at the top, just like you might see out in the real sky. And I have 3 of these sections to install or put on here that I can easily take up and down. So I'm going to do that right now just to kind of finalize this project and get it done. And behold, just like that, a backdrop arises down the peninsula section. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. Like I said, these are a little bit too tall. These are probably a couple of feet tall, so pretty high, but not real bad. Look better than nothing, and that's kind of what I'm going for, just to separate the 2 sections. Again, definitely, this is temporary and will become more permanent, you know, months and years down the road as I get this thing built. Okay, thank you very much for watching Quartzville Railroad video number 12. Got the backdrop up and looking good, so appreciate you watching this video. Again, if you would consider liking and subscribing to it and all that good stuff, I would appreciate it. Thanks, and have a great day.